Hey guys, you've undoubtedly faced a lot more techies in your games as of late because of Team Secret's usage of them in ESL not too long ago, and it's fairly common, I would say, to actually see them in solo queue. And there's a technique that I will dub Minesweeping, which is generally just for a few heroes. I would say Night Stalker and Keeper of the Light mainly because of their AGS upgrades, which gives unobstructed flying vision in a large radius around your hero during a certain time of the day. So I'll just outline like a very brief way of how to play against a mining techies. This is different from the suiciding plus mining techies, which is generally paired with like a tiny or a tusk. But if they don't have a tiny or a tusk, which they probably won't too often in a solo queue game, you pretty much just want to like avoid him for the first, I would say, like 15-20 minutes of the game. If you don't give him any kills, Techies actually does not farm that fast as long as you have someone pushing out his lane so that he doesn't get your tower with your remote mines. So if you don't die to the mines and you don't die to suicide, your own economy won't be impacted that badly, and Techies' economy is going to be heavily impaired because he's not really achieving anything with his mines. He's just, you know, farming the waves out, not getting towers, not getting any kills. It's like, you know, just compared to like a Shadow Fiend who can just double raise every wave. That's pretty much what he does if he just mines every wave. But at the same time, Techies can't farm a jungle. He can't really right-click people down late game like a SF. And if you put him into a role that he's not very good at, that's one of the easiest ways to win a game. So pretty much put him in a role where he's not getting any kills. So at the very start of this game, this Techies buys all the items and actually TPs to the top lane to start laying some mines. And on top of that, he places an observer ward so that he can avoid us spotting him out. So generally it'll be very difficult to find a techies in the early game. And if I move to my own team's perspective, we probably won't see him for like a good 20 seconds post creep spawn, I would say. Which is going to be a while, but what we try and do to deal with that is move out to our lanes as soon as possible so we can scout out where there are mines. As long as you know where the techies is, you know which areas are dangerous, like hot spots, and which areas are very cold and very easy to gank, and where you want the majority of your action to be focused. You want to have all of your action like directed away from the techies for like first 15-20 minutes of the game. Again, take him out of his element, avoid the mines, don't die to the mines, don't die to the suicides, don't give him any opportunities, and just avoid him like the plague. That's probably the best advice that I can give you, because smart techies can play around sentry wards very, very easily, and they'll just place them in like choke points or places that are like really heavily obscured by fog, or just like go really deep into your woods. Are you really gonna place like a sentry ward over here like 30 seconds in a game? Very unlikely. But will a techies place a mine there? Yeah, there's a pretty good chance that he will. So we see him. I'm trying to figure out when this is the first time we actually get a spot of him on the mini map, but it's probably around the 30-second mark when the creep waves meet in the top lane. So yeah, 30 seconds we figure out that Techies is in the top lane, and mentally I'm like, okay, I'm not ganking the Techies, I'm not going up there, I'm not even going to buy the Wind Ranger Sentry Wards, because she should just stay in her own little bubble, just pretty much go wherever the creeps go, so that you have no chance of triggering landmines, and just play safely at a range and outlast hit the Techies. Techies has really low base damage, 30 base damage. Wind Ranger has 52 with very little stats. If he had a null talisman, he'd almost have double Techies base damage. And Techies is really weak at laning and last hitting, so you want to, you know, force him to go into a last hit war with the hero, which is something that he's almost assuredly going to lose. So if we want to go to like CS, and I'll fast forward like a good 10 minutes, the CS is almost double. So, and at this point, Techies actually has 0 kills. So we did a very good job of just avoiding him. I don't even think I like even went anywhere in like this area of the map, the top left quadrant of the map at all, just because there's no point. I'm just playing into their hands, and I want him to play into our hands, which is trying to deal with our constant aggression on bottom. And we end up like diving their heroes a lot. diving their Luna, diving their Shadow Shaman, because those heroes are actually pretty weak and easy to gank. But anyways, once you get past the first phase of the game where Techies isn't mega fed and you guys aren't super poor from having to buy tons of sentries and like having to buy some armor maybe, or buy some flasks to recover from landmines, and just overall having that nagging like, oh man, he could have mines here. Once you get past that phase, which is again avoiding him, taking actions on other side of the map and having the one person lane against them just engage in the last hit, or once you get past that phase, it becomes much easier because he won't have that many items. He just has Soul Ring and Bottle. It's 10 minutes in, and again, he got doubled in CS by the Wind Ranger, so he can't actually really do that much. Sure, he's level 8, but wouldn't you rather like have a Luna with that much farm in a one-on-one situation, or like let's say a Lone Druid in a one-on-one situation versus a Wind Ranger, which I think Lone Druid actually wins? Take Techies out of his element, make him the last hit, make him poor, and don't give him any kills. So that's pretty much what I do for the first 0 to 25 minutes of the game. And then once 25 minutes rolls around, I start almost having my scepter, and then the game becomes really easy because it's just pretty much a 5-on-4 once you get an Ags plus a gem. So I actually get a little bit of help from my Wind Ranger, and she ends up buying my gem just a couple minutes after. I pick up my Ags, which is pretty darn nice. So she purchases the gem, she gives it to me, and then immediately I start doing what I dub Minesweeping. Minesweeping is just making a very large part of the map safe for you and your team, and then you relay that information to your team. So I start off with the top lane, and then I just move all the way systematically right outside of T2s and just look for any sort of base that the Techies might have set up. And we see the Techies and get a kill on him, and I see their mine. There's a reservoir ward over here too. Kill all the sentries, and then I'm just making this area clear. And of course he placed mines that are like at a choke point and uphill that would be very difficult for us to approach from the right side, but with a scepter it's really easy. And then my team opts to end up pushing this tower, and I continue on to my Minesweeping venture, just going right outside the T2s and seeing where he has all his stuff. There's this thing over here. I even look behind the tower to see if there's any like remote mines to potentially go for a T3 push. If there's not, and I don't see anything, yeah, this is where the mines are. And again, mines are like pretty commonly placed over here and here, so that's what I'm looking for. And I see this big batch over here. Again, very difficult if you're approaching from the right side, but if you have an unobstructed vision with a gem, super easy to defend against. So after this, I inform my team, okay, I've traveled all the way from here to over here, so this whole area of the map is completely safe for to do whatever you guys want to do, minus this one mine flag from the Techies. And you might be wondering why Techies places the mine flag in the mid lane. Mid lane is the most commonly lane pushed, at least from what I've seen. And some people are like, oh yeah, it's like a really weird like advantage / disadvantage because of like the width and the thing, but there are a couple things that makes mid lane the best lane to push. Firstly, when you're retreating, like let's say something goes terribly poorly, you're not retreating onto a choke point, which is really important. You can spread out all the way over here. When you're retreating over here, you actually have to retreat up to a stairs and up to a relatively small choke point, and on the bottom lane it's an even smaller choke point which you have to retreat up, which can just devastate your entire team. And if you go up all the way around, your team split up. So that's one reason why I like the mid lane. Second reason why I like the mid lane is because you can push out the side lanes much easier. And if you're in a position to push the high ground, you have enough map control and you have enough gank potential usually to limit any sort of side push from the enemy team. But if you're in the bottom lane and you're pushing, then they can just push top without really fear of you killing them. So that's the main reason why you'll see players mine the mid lane and push the mid lane. So after this, I just ask my range heroes to kill all the mines. We do Roche, we get the Aegis, and then we just make a systematic high ground push by killing all the mines. And again, this guy already had his sign on cooldown, which is pretty much the only way that he can catch us off guard. And it becomes a pretty easy game after that, even though we just run 3 hero stasis trap. So there you have it. This is one of the better heroes to deal with a mining techies, and the other heroes that are good are Keeper Light, very similar functionality with his Ags upgrade. I would say Beastmaster is really good because he has summons. His board can just run over landmines if you suspect that there's a landmine there. And his Hawk gives Flying Vision, both of which are really, really good for dealing with the techies. On top of that, you have the Storm Spirit. His Remnant gives Flying Vision as well as his ultimate, so you can have a lot more vision than a normal hero. And lastly, I think Nature's Prophet deserves an honorable mention because he has a lot of summons that are pretty tanky and can blow up a lot of mines and spread out a fair area of the map. Lycanthrope comes like a close second, I would say, after Nature's Prophet, but he only has 2 trees, whereas Nature's Prophet can have up to 5. So there you have it. Hopefully techies won't be as frustrating to deal with. You can really just make their life miserable by getting an Ags and a gem. And as a techies player myself, that is just one of the most frustrating things to deal with because your tricks of like mining in the trees, which is completely obscured by fog, like in the mid lane, like these are 2 very common spots that I've died to on many occasions, as well as this spot. Those tricks just go out the window, and there's almost no trick in the book that can actually help you deal with that aside from like maybe an Ags minefield or a Force Staff detonate, which can be played around. So thank you guys for watching. Hope this makes your techie games a little bit less stressful. Sorry that I'm a techies picker too. I can't say that I wish that hero was removed from the game because I like him so much, but good luck in your games. Okay. Have a good one. Please subscribe at youtube.com/MerliniDota if you haven't already, and I'll be posting match details for this if you want to examine it a little bit closer. So I'll see you guys next time.